meantime, the house that Ralph built is undergoing a major renovation, more than $100 million being spent to upgrade Ralph Wilson Stadium. But at the same time, the team is thinking about building an entire new home for the Buffalo Bills. News 4's Rich Newberg has an update on the stadium study. Rich?
Don, the Bills have picked some high-powered people to accomplish what Ralph Wilson said he always wanted, to keep the Bills the Buffalo Bills.
We'll do whatever it takes to keep the Bills in Buffalo. They are part of the soul of the city.
So what will it take to keep the Bills rooted in the region in which they were born? The Bills have put together this new working group to decide whether the team gets a new stadium or retrofits the old Ralph in order to meet expectations of whoever takes ownership of the team, now that Ralph Wilson has passed away. Senator Chuck Schumer's influence could be invaluable.
We've been able to work closely with the NFL and Commissioner Goodell, and that's going to be a real asset. He's from Western New York, from Jamestown, and he wants to keep the Bills in Buffalo.
Bills president and CEO Russ Brandon said the 7 individuals selected are passionate about the Buffalo Bills and recognize its importance, both economically and socially, to Western New York.
Well, I certainly hope the team's staying for many, many decades to come.
Ironically, representatives from Erie County and the governor's office who will be working with the Bills' new group toured the old Ralph on Tuesday, hours before learning of Mr. Wilson's death, and they touted the progress in the stadium's $130 million renovation.
I'm just blown away with how much work has been done on a renovation so far this year.
But improvements in fan access, new restrooms, and concession stands are only temporary fixes. Now, there is a new stadium working group created to see if it will take a new stadium to convince a new owner to keep the team in Western New York.
But we're putting in place the mechanism that will be necessary to show a new owner that we're committed to keeping this team in town, whether it's through a major retrofit of Ralph Wilson Stadium or the building of a new stadium.
Senator Chuck Schumer told me today the best way we can protect Ralph's legacy is to keep the Bills right here for generations to come. Now, there is a lease in place that buys some time, and let's go to Steve Feasey now for more on that. Steve?
Yeah, Rich, you know, they built this lease agreement to try and make it nearly impossible for someone to move the franchise. Any potential owner would have to jump through a series of hoops just to even have a shot. Even if an owner wants to move it eventually, the state, county, and Erie County Stadium Corporation can file a court order to block it. That's before we even start talking about penalties. If a judge somehow pushes it through, which likely would not be a short process, then we would get to that $400 million penalty everyone keeps talking about. For comparison's sake, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a long-term lease in place. Their relocation penalty is $100 million, and even that's viewed as a significant deterrent in moving that particular franchise. Makes it incredibly unlikely we'll see a change, at least in the first 7 years of that lease deal. After year 7, there's a short window when the lease can be terminated for $28.4 million. By then, though, we should have an idea on any progress toward a new stadium with the committee now in place. In the studio, Steve Feasey, News 4 Sports.